A lion walks up to a waterhole in South Africa. It is the apex predator of the entire continent. It can kill almost anything that walks, swims, or runs. Nothing in the savannah outranks it. Except, apparently, a voice. Researchers set up hidden speakers at that exact waterhole, and they played two different sounds to the animals coming to drink. One was a recording of a lion, growling, snarling. The other was a recording of a person, just talking, calmly, in a normal conversational voice.
You would think the lion sound would empty the place out. It did not. The human voice did. Giraffes, leopards, hyenas, zebras, even elephants. Across nearly every single species tested, the sound of a person talking caused more fear, faster fleeing, than the actual roar of a lion. Let that sit there for a second. These are animals who have lived alongside lions for millions of years. And somehow, somewhere along the way, they decided we were worse. By the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly why every animal on Earth quietly agrees with that decision.
So let's go back to that waterhole. This was not a small study. This was Greater Kruger National Park, one of the largest lion populations left on the planet. Biologist Liana Zanette and her team set up camera traps with hidden speakers at multiple waterholes during the dry season, when water is scarce and animals have no choice but to show up. They played 4 types of sound: lions snarling, people speaking calmly in local languages, hunting sounds like gunshots and dogs barking, and harmless control sounds, just to compare. Over several months, they collected 15,000 video clips, and when they finally broke down the data, the result was almost embarrassing for the lion. 95% of species tested fled faster and more often when they heard a human voice than when they heard a lion. Not a scream, not a gunshot, just 2 people talking normally, the way you would talk to a friend at a coffee shop. Animals were twice as likely to run, and they abandoned the watering hole 40% faster. One of the researchers said something that I have not been able to stop thinking about. Lions should be the scariest thing out there, but we were scarier. Here is the part that genuinely changes the story. This is not animals reacting to modern humans, not to guns, not to cars, not to drones, just the sound of a voice. Which means this fear is old, older than rifles, older than agriculture, possibly older than most of what we consider civilization. And researchers have a name for what we became somewhere in our evolutionary past: the super predator. Not because we are the fastest. We are not. Not because we have claws or fangs or venom. We have none of that. But because of how we kill. A lion kills mostly the young, the old, the weak, the ones that were going to die anyway. That is how predator and prey have balanced each other for millions of years. Humans broke that rule completely. We kill the healthy adults. We hunt in coordinated groups. We use tools that extend our reach far beyond our bodies. And researchers calculated that humans kill prey at rates many times higher than any other predator on the planet. One study put it simply: we are roughly 14 times deadlier than any other species hunting the same prey. And animals do not need a study to know this. Their ancestors who underestimated us did not survive long enough to pass on that mistake. the ones who fled the moment they heard us coming, those are the ones whose descendants are still alive today. So when a zebra hears a calm human voice at a waterhole and runs faster than it would from a lion, it is not overreacting. It is remembering something that kept its entire bloodline alive.
Now here is where it gets uncomfortable, because we like to think of ourselves as the gentle species, the thoughtful one, the one capable of kindness and music and art and love. And we are. But that is not the whole story the rest of the animal kingdom has been told. Researchers studying this fear response found something that should make every one of us pause. It does not fade with safety. In areas where hunting has stopped entirely, where animals have not been hunted by humans in years, sometimes decades, the fear does not go away. One researcher put it directly. There is a notion that animals get used to humans if they are not being hunted. We have shown that is not true.
The fear of humans is ingrained. It is built in. It does not update based on our current behavior. It does not care that you, personally, have never harmed an animal in your life. Your voice still triggers it. Because somewhere in the deep evolutionary memory of every prey species on this planet, humans are filed under one category: threat that does not stop. And the truly unsettling part is that this fear is not irrational. It is accurate. We really are the most lethal predator this planet has ever produced. Not the strongest, not the fastest, the most lethal. And every other species figured that out long before we ever wrote it down in a research paper. So why does this actually matter? Because researchers are not just studying this out of curiosity. This fear response is reshaping entire ecosystems. Animals that fear humans more than lions have started changing when they are active. Many species are shifting toward the night, becoming nocturnal not because nighttime suits them better, but because that is when humans are least likely to be around. Across the globe, scientists have documented this same shift happening again and again. Deer, wild boar, mountain lions, all adjusting their entire daily rhythm around avoiding us. We are not just a predator in the ecosystem. We are reorganizing it by simply existing, by simply being present. The mere sound of us is enough to alter how an entire landscape behaves. Think about that for a moment. A creature that does not need to attack, does not need to chase, does not even need to be physically present. Just the memory of what we are capable of is enough to move animals across an entire continent into the shadows. We built cities. We wrote books. We made music and medicine and art. But underneath all of that, in the oldest part of how nature reads us, we are still exactly what we always were. The most feared thing in the wild. Not because of what we carry, because of what we are. The lion did not lose its crown to a bigger predator. It lost its crown to a voice. A calm one. An ordinary one. The same voice you used this morning to say good morning to someone you love. Out there, in the wild, that voice means something completely different. If this changed how you see your place in the natural world, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to keep discovering what the rest of the world already knows about us, you know where to find us.